Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2 Curse of the Vampire Coast, and this travesty, I swear, it's just terrible. It breaks your heart to see this. Undead bros fighting undead bros, while all of these horrible fleshy monsters still walk the earth. Couldn't we just, like, combine forces and kill all the Skaven and the Dark Elves, and then settle our differences? It turns out, King Fuckdom is not amenable to this line of reasoning. I tried. I shouted it at him as hard as I could while he was sailing over. He probably heard me. Maybe. I guess he doesn't have ears. How does Khemri... Can they hear? How do they know where we are if they don't have eyes? Do skeletons operate by echolocation? No, wait, they don't have ears. Maybe they use, like, that weird electrical sense that platypi have. Platypi? Platypuses? It's probably platypuses. You know what I'm talking about. That thing that they do where they sense electrical fields because they can't see underwater. Because when they get in the water, their eyes snap shut. What a bizarre and definitely made-up animal. Alright, so what are we facing here? We probably want to gamble up from 13. I think we want to gamble up from 13. Oof. That didn't work. Let's see, they have some chariots, a whole lot of just like dudes. The Shabdi Great Bow, that's a real problem. Catapult, that's a real problem. I think we can win this? Probably. I think probably we can win this, but it's not going to be a super clean victory. So, I'm wondering if we should... Let's go ahead and do the thing where we intersperse the melee and ranged. So we'll have the depth guard at the outsides. We'll do like you, then you, then you, then you. Or we're just doing this because I'm a little worried about... Actually, we have few enough melee that maybe we want to do 2 units of guns. I'm just worried about the amount of stuff they have that moves relatively fast. Like, I don't want to get caught off guard by an Shabdi charge into my dudes. Alright, so we'll set up this line right here. We got this nice flat terrain. Actually, maybe even starting a little further over and extending a little further over. It's not all flat, but we're aiming through the flat portion for the most part. Alright, the extra guns I don't really know what to do with. They're going to be okay. Mostly they're going to be good for reducing enemy morale. So actually, maybe we put them on the edges of the formation. See if we can get them to like fold in around the inside. And if they get caught by a cavalry charge or whatever, it's not a big deal because they probably aren't going to contribute much in the first place. I'll leave the big monsters kind of behind the line, ready to sweep around. Rotting Promethean gunnery mob can do the same thing, but on this side. Over here we have our Lord, who can just kind of hang out like that. And then what I would really love to do with these dogs, obviously, is get into that Screaming Skull catapult as quickly as possible. So, is there a position over here that I can get into where, like, we're hidden by the trees? That's, yeah, okay. That's really helpful, guys. You know that that's not how I want you to set up. The answer is no. No, there's not really a position where we can hide in the trees. There are no trees on my half of the map at all. Well, that's very inconvenient. What we could do is just set the dogs up on opposite sides as far forward as possible and hope that they don't have the wherewithal to defend against me coming in from both ends. I mean, they do have 2 units of chariots, so it should be very easy for them to get away with this. We could have the dogs stand behind our lines. Wait for them to engage and then go after them, but I think this is right. Maybe they'll kill the dogs, maybe they won't. We'll find out. Other dogs get up here. And we have perfect mortar range already, which is nice. Oh, we've uncovered their hidden 10,000 skeleton horsemen. Well, guess that's over. Alright, just run. These guys might actually get in. Okay, hold on. I gotta pay a little bit of attention over here. So, They have Necropolis Knights. These are big cavalry units of awesome skeleton statues being ridden by spearmen. This is one of my favorite units in the Khemri army. Not because they're useful, but because they're just really, really cool. Oh yeah, the dogs got absolutely nothing accomplished, which is awesome. Just exactly what I was hoping would happen. These guys look like they could use a little pick-me-up. And once we have a little bit of commitment from the enemy ranged, I mean, they really don't have that much ranged. It's basically the Ushabti Greatbow that I'm a little afraid of. I'm wondering if maybe I should just have the deck droppers run in. There's not that many units in this unit, or not that many bodies in this unit of Greatbows. It might take them long enough to kill the deck droppers that we could do real damage to this cavalry unit, or artillery unit. Maybe. I'm going to try it. We're starting to get some proper gunfire in. Seems like an okay time to trigger the reload bonus. And these guys think they're being clever. Let's have you guys form up like this. You fire over here. You turn and fire over here as well. And you move to stand between our distracted gunners and everything else that's happening. They are really pounding us with those catapults. It's really bad. Alright, catapult charge. Probably got those catapults killed pretty quickly here. I think he stopped moving because they hit him with the catapult. I believe that is what happened there. Okay, we're distracting the Ushabti Greatbow. Honestly, that might be a good enough reason for us to do this thing. And we need to start responding to these incoming dudes. So we could just have the Depth Guard turn around and fight the Chariot's dead already. I'm not worried about that. The Rotting Prometheans have it under control. I am going to have this unit form up like here a little bit. I don't want to block our shot. Like, we definitely need to hit those Tomb Guard. You really, really desperately need to cool down your Invocation of Nahak faster. There's not really a way to do that. I think we want to just throw something at their archers, just as a distraction. Start moving these guys up. We caught the cavalry charge here. We can probably get rid of these Necropolis Knights fairly quickly and then refocus some of our units. And I mean, you know, our dogs may not have really gotten a ton accomplished here, but they did distract a large number of enemy units. We're fighting a much smaller force than we otherwise would have had to. So their lord is under attack here. Have these guys come forward and try to grab their lord. He suffered some pretty serious damage from the initial volleys of fire. And I think that has got us in a good spot. Okay, actually, you guys probably shouldn't go anywhere. You should probably hang out, because we are about to receive additional charging. I guess you guys can try to hack through those spearmen real fast. We should have these units probably... These spearmen are... These halberds are just getting through, huh? If we put the animated hulks on them, the animated hulks are just going to get murdered. Let's do our best to shoot them down quickly with all these guys. You don't really have a target. Yeah, we have 3 units over here that don't really have clean targeting. Those chariots are going to be dead pretty soon. You just tar pit those guys a little bit. But unfortunately, with the number of enemies over here, we can't use these guys to like wheel around either. Get behind, or get flank shots on the enemies, so that's a shame. Alright, and then these 3 units of rifles need to focus on these incoming troops. We got some stuff happening here that I would like to see murdered. Let's see all of the happening stuff murdered. I'm going to run these pistols out front in the hopes of being a distraction. Really love it if the enemy would just attack them instead of attacking things that are useful. Alright, let's see how this goes. Also, actually, we should turn the mortars. We definitely have new targets. Let's fire over in that direction. And then actually somebody should really work on these archers. I do not need to be taking all this fire. Oh, they have horsemen running into my artillery. Well, if you guys could work on that, we can get those guys on this.
Pistols loaded! Powers of the dead!
Okay, they went for some gunners instead. That works out pretty okay for us, actually. Reduce the combat stats of these units over here. I'm focusing on the Ushabti. This is not going so badly. This thing went really well. It turns out they completely ignored us, which is not what I would have expected. So we should probably order these guys to do something else. I guess they can go and harass the archers. Did we kill their lord? No, their lord is still alive and well and in my gunners. Always, perpetually, forever in my gunners. They have a scorpion over here, an extremely cool tomb scorpion. God, Khemri units are cool. I don't really have an easy line of fire on that one. That's going to take some doing. Have this gunnery mob maybe run around a little bit. Firing into the back of the Ushabti is probably not helping a huge amount, so maybe they can draw down on somebody that they can actually hurt. And I'm wondering if maybe I should refocus. Like, those are just spears, right? Yeah, but they gotta die. Yeah, we're fine here. This is mostly right. But please get rid of this chariot unit. I thought it was dead, but somehow it has survived. I have a lot of units threatening to die. Who needs health? You need health.
Undead.
Yeah, my units are really sad. They're just getting really sad all the time. And we're still seeing the Khemri get all of their Realm of Souls buffs. They just get a bunch of free health and a bunch of free units. This was the last one, though. They are now out. So that's very good for us. Lord is desperately trying to escape. It'd be great if that didn't work. Can you please kill him? Right, we're winning the front. We're winning the fight on this front mostly. One thing I can't help but notice is that their units are dropping low on morale and then suddenly completely recovering. That's making it very difficult for me to get them to crumble. I don't know what they're thinking. It seems very selfish of them to just, like, still be alive. Okay, the Rotting Prometheans have that under control. How are we doing on this Tomb Scorpion? This thing has to stop happening. These guys are crumbling, so hopefully they will be outside of my riflemen soon. Actually, can you get rid of him? Can we just please finally finish off the chariot? I guess, yeah, finish them. They should crumble, but we've been seeing a lot of evidence that these guys do not adhere to the rules of the game. Alright, the Ushabti are breaking down. Let's get rid of these spearmen, or horsemen rather. It'd be cool if I could have all my artillery back. Alright, you three are supposed to be firing. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of firing happening. Can maybe turn and obliterate these horsemen. Having a lot of issues here with my gun troops not wanting to shoot their weapons. Can we please finish off their lord? That would certainly help. Right, try to fall back while giving your friends room to attack here. How is their lord still alive?
Powers of the deed!
Part of the problem we're having here is that, like, this guy's been at none health for a long time. Nobody's dealing any damage, it seems like. Yeah, and see, they drop to nothing and are ostensibly crumbling, but don't actually crumble.
Fleet Admiral!
Somehow their lord is just going to kill me.
Blood magic!
Somebody, stop him. If we can kill him, the morale loss should deal some, like, real damage to the enemy here. That sort of would be dependent, I guess, on them actually taking damage from morale loss, though, which they don't seem to be doing. Come on, drop him. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to get this. The Scorpion still has full health, like... He's not going to be distracted by those troops any longer. Yeah, I was really hopeful when we saw their lord take so much damage during the initial charge. Really hopeful that we were going to be able to knock him out quickly. Okay. Well, he finally went down. We are seeing some morale loss on them now. You guys not be engaged in melee, please? Yeah, we're dead. Well, that's a shame. We do have that that other army that we are generating in this area. We can certainly run them off after this. Yeah, this is a bummer, though. You know, the difference between an army run by a high-level lord and an army run by a low-level lord is pretty significant. All those skill points do add up. Speaking of skill points, there was a big patch. The Festag update finally came out. And we are not using it because, although it makes some balance changes, it has some important bug fixes in it, and we will swap over if we have to, because it does fix the issue with the vampire factions crashing the game if they get destroyed while owning pirate coves, but it also completely reworks a bunch of the skill trees, and basically in an already extant game, the way that manifests is a whole bunch of the skills that you spent points in no longer exist, so those points are just gone. It's not a big deal for us, our stuff didn't change much, but it would make it so that effectively, like, a bunch of the AI lords would suddenly have no skills. And the game is easy enough, I think. Not a change that I am terribly interested in. Okay, so the Khemri over here are at least acting like they're going to help us. And they're settling ruins, which I like. It's a little bit less important for the Khemri than it is for some factions, in the sense that the reason you need to have, like, whole provinces and stuff is that you can get your economy running, but it sort of doesn't matter if the Khemri have an economy running because they don't pay their troops. But it is still important to build the buildings that let you recruit cool stuff. And the more settlements you have, the more copies of those things you can build. God, I cannot wait until we can figure out a way to get the Khemri to calm down. They should love us, given the size of our empire. We're just going to have to keep growing until they love us so much that they can no longer deny it. Also, man, that's a lot of Von Karsteins. I guess the yellow part of this bar represents a little bit less power than it used to. But still, that seemed like an awful lot of vampire army. Warriors of Chaos looking about as strong as ever. Again, somehow it is still the case that they are not doing anything and nobody is doing anything to them. The Red Horde tribe still exists, man. I would love to be done with these guys. That's right, they're just moving their hidden encampment around. Well, we will hunt them down. We don't have the time to do it right this second, but we will. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't matter. We were not going to be able to hold that settlement no matter what. There is... Okay, so our fencer's blades were stolen. That's not a big deal. It's not a great weapon. Settlements lost. All kinds of stuff. Yep, okay. Lots and lots of pop-ups as always. Almost none of them meaning anything to us. So Lostra is going to resettle the Temple of Tlenkan and then hopefully be able to just sail north. It would be really nice if that were the case.
Join me.
So, we definitely need to rebuild this thing. Chakwa does not need buildings terribly. What do we want to build here? We already have a public order structure. I guess it could just be money. Money-making building? That's fine. How far off are we from the next? The next use of our money right is in 3 turns.
Of the fleet.
Peggy Rains doesn't really need to do anything except hang out. We should probably hire some more troops with her, though. We should also update the buildings a little bit. Does Tory Vress have good recruitment structures? It does. We need to get this up to here so that we can get Morgels in 1 turn. But I'm going to have her ride down to here and recruit some, I guess, Promethean gunnery mobs. Since we can't get Sirens here.
All of them aboard.
Have her be ready for the next incursion. Oh, Bones McDonald gets to get Tim Fenn back. You can go and devour that vampire fleet captain. Yeah, this is a little awkward. We're gonna be stuck over here for a little while. Oh hey, look who hit max level. So Heggrafe has risen from the ashes. The tiny vampire or the tiny dark elf faction that originally held the settlement we just lost was what spawned as the rebellion army, and so this faction has been resurrected. I think that's a neat thing when it happens. It probably will not have much effect here. So we can't realistically threaten the Awakening. And they don't have anything else over here for us to threaten. We took everything else away from them. So I guess we just like move over to the edge of our settlement here and wait. I guess I could dig. Alright. We have a couple of treasure hunt things in the jungle here that we haven't been able to figure out. I thought maybe I was just going to be sitting, luckily, right on top of one of them. Alright, Isabella Anderoft, what do we do with you? You could head up to the Circle of Destruction and try to hold things down a little bit. We could also try to bring her around to help us fight Skaven. She's pretty far away from that. But also she's fast. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put some additional pressure on the Skaven. If the Dark Elves make some progress over here, it will be a shame, but not the end of the world. So you merge up into that army. We can hit Sildrator this turn? Okay.
All bones on deck.
Ronnie Jackson here pulls in what he can from the raised dead pool. Alright. 3 bloated corpses it is. May as well bring everything. And let's see if we can't maybe push Tretch Craventail off the map once and for all, huh? Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, he's got a lot of stuff going on over there. Well, we've got a lot of stuff going on over here. We're really close. We've been really close to defeating him for a really long time. Apparently, this is a roughly even battle. Settlement garrison has 2 warp lightning cannons.
Bring
Okay, well, let's fight it.
and infamy.
Feels to me like it shouldn't be that even. We are going to take some damage from the warp lightning. There's no two ways about that. But it shouldn't be enough to turn things. Like, these are some pretty elite units. The Plague Monk Sensor Bearers are not actually great against us. They don't have a lot of health per unit. They get gunned down pretty easily. These things are definitely a little bit scarier. Actually good at ranged fighting. But this feels overall like an army that my army would just straight up beat. And we do have to remember that there's going to be some number of magic Skaven summons, and then also this terrain is not ideal. We can probably work with 15, but let's gamble. Would be nice to start higher. Yeah, like that. That would be pretty good. That thing that happened there. So, I think we want to take advantage of the water over here. Fight them in terrain that is extremely beneficial to us. We have to be a little bit careful about the warp lightning cannon. It makes me want to not put my sirens out front. We'll stay in a position where we can respond quickly to enemies. I'm going to have the haunters be over here. I'm hoping that they won't see us coming, because they have to get pretty close to us to know that we're there. My hope here is that they will commit a bunch of their dudes without getting anywhere near my haunters, and then we'll just walk around the backside and crush their siege equipment. Vanguard stealth is a pretty big deal. Alright, mortar fire's already going. Should probably use some of these cannons. Okay, I mean, they're absolutely acting like they can already see us. Yeah, I guess we lost stock at some point. Move slowly. When you're... No, I mean, we still have stock. Yeah, weird. They should not be able to see me. Alright. Well, these guys are dead. And we're taking hits from the warp lightning cannons, but we're dealing an awful lot of damage with our mortars already. I'm not that worried about the... Oh, actually, we're hitting the warp lightning cannon, too. Yeah. Okay. This is fine, I guess. I really appreciate how much time they're giving us to set up. Okay, we'll chase them off the map real fast, and then get back to the important business of getting ready to shoot all the enemies. So, are we... Okay, we're just about to enter firing range. They're mostly coming in at angles that are pretty good for us. And they have now actually committed a fair number of their troops. They're keeping some stuff in reserve in a way that is unusual for Skaven, and like is making it very obvious that they are not actually unaware of our troops here. You know, it is the case in a lot of games that enemies get information they're not supposed to have because the AI can't, like, literally can't manage battle if it has to have the same ideas of vision as the player. I think that might be what we're seeing here. They're supposed to act like they can't see that, but they're not doing a good job. They can definitely see that. Feel free to move up a little bit to get your shot. And this seems like a fine time for this. Alright, so now we have to decide what we want to do about the approach on the flank here, because obviously they're not going to let me just walk up to those positions that I want. I guess we can focus everybody up on the Doom Wheel here. You two can start firing into those units of sensor bearers, and then we can have some of the weaker melee just sort of run forward and cause problems. We had some deckhand mobs over here. Yeah, just kind of charge.
Blood dispel!
Once things are a little bit more locked in, or, okay, actually now, because they're starting to get in range to do their throws, right? This seems like an okay place to put a purple sun. There's a lot of directions for it to walk in where it has things to hit. Yeah, that's doing a good job of staying in the enemy. Where is this? That's actually a little annoying. That said, clan rats straight up lose to our gunners in melee all the time. They really just... I don't know. The clan rat summons seem really, really bad. I remember them not being quite so bad when we were playing Skaven right after the game came out. Try to get these guys out and away from the rest of my units so that random clan rats don't stumble into us and cause us to explode. And here comes the warp lightning. Okay, they chose to fire that in a place where it's not exactly devastating. There's some of these sirens run up. How's this thing going? It's going remarkably slowly. Not really doing any damage. We have an awful lot of broken foes here. You guys can come back. Good job chasing off those clan rats. Alright, so everything over here is permanently broken. We can afford to sort of form up a flank, make our weird little concave. Okay, at least that time they summoned those guys in a place where they might do some damage, any damage at all. Can't throw a summon on those guys, or a heal on those guys, and then Burke could be... Where is their lord? Is their lord in the battle at all? There he is. Burke could maybe be fighting that guy a little bit more directly. Okay. Yeah, I think we're very close to done here.
Fleet Admiral! It will be!
And I think this battle looks like it was commanding enough of a victory to make it pretty easy for us to survive the Skaven counterattack that is definitely coming.
At your service!
Alright, I can't believe this Doom Wheel still exists. Could you guys please... Alright, also, there's an awful lot of just like standing around and not firing going on here. You have the back of all of these enemies. Just fire into them relentlessly. Never stop shooting them. Should be able to drop the Doom Wheel relatively quickly. I think we should defeat their lord as well. Yeah, he's losing. Okay, there we go. Finally we get some actual fire on the Doom Wheel. We don't need to hang out here. There's nothing to chase down because they're in the settlements. They'll just be deleted immediately at the end of battle. Alright, so Trutch Craventail has at least one full army. And I think we don't actually have vision of that settlement, right? So we can see a full army and a very small army crouched next to it, but there could be a full army inside the settlement as well. So we should prepare for a counterattack that is maybe going to be fairly brutal. An awful lot of rats. If we were to defeat them here on their counterattack, I think it probably spells the end for them. They're very, very pressed into a corner. Now I know you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to corner a rat. Things tend to get pretty bad when that happens. But in my defense, they sort of cornered themselves. This is not my fault, is what I'm saying. Okay, that obsidian blade is alright. We've killed Mika the Experimenter.
No stragglers. Treasure.
Inside the settlement, we are not vulnerable to the random offensive ambush. But they could still potentially do it to Ronnie Jackson, I think. As silly as that is. And he may as well just grab 3 more. Like, let's cap this army out if we can.
Captain, reporting.
Amelia Hodgson, I don't know what you're supposed to be doing. Did we get the treasure down here? No. We're about to.
Fleet captain,
At least I hope we're about to.
sow the world with blood.
Okay, a miserly hoard of treasure. Well, what are you going to do? So, I don't have any idea what I want from you.
Get
I don't know.
going.
Get over here somewhere. We definitely want to go back to public order here, now that we can do that. Probably want to spend some cash upgrading these buildings. Actually, we probably don't need to do all that. Let's maybe hold off on 2 of those, because I want money to recruit troops.
All bones on deck.
So here in Chupiatl, we can be grabbing a couple of rifles and a couple more rifles. Oh, actually, you know what we need is mortars. Okay. This is going to take a little while for that army to really be ready to go. They chose not to actually take over the Mangrove Coast, which is a decision, I guess, that you are technically allowed to make. It's definitely wrong. And is that everybody? Are we good? Benny Verdish is here, and he has a plan, but I don't know what his plan is. Where you going, buddy? Yeah, this is not a useful place for you to run to. Run up here. Viola Drury is sailing across to that other treasure site. Okay, with that we are actually done. Well, I'm bummed out about losing to the Khemri, but they won't be able to take too much territory before we're able to stop them, as torn up as that army is. Obviously, he would love peace. He will not receive it. Not now, not in our moment of victory. Luther Harkon's very big, weird monster army is hopefully going to sail elsewhere. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, we should try to do something about that. They are now having a moment of weakness, a moment of localized weakness. They resettled that settlement there, which is going to leave all of their armies completely shredded, or all of their units completely shredded. We might be able to really make something happen. Also, apparently, those Khemri are done with us now. They won their one battle, they got some banners and trophies to take home, and they are out of here. Fair enough. I like it. You know, don't overstay your welcome. Don't get caught overextended. I'll say this: the Grand Hierophant has not exactly been striking terror in our foes all by himself, but he has helped. You know, he has provided some real material benefit. Also, he's giving us vision of an area way over here that we don't usually get vision of. So that's neat. I don't know why he's doing that, but it's nice to know where Archaon is and where he is sitting around not doing anything. He just built up a big old weird looking tower, like Kefka in the World of Ruin stuff, and then he's just gonna hang out there. Oh, they're doing it. They're riding on him. Nope. Archaon defeated that vampire lord, despite the fact that they attacked him with about 4 times the number of units he had. I mean, listen, I'll say this for Chaos. Their units are very elite. Like, very, very elite. Chaos Warriors are pound for pound some of the best infantry in the game, and remarkably cheap and easy to hire. And they have a lot of cool monsters and stuff. I mean, Chaos is a cool army. Minotaurs are really neat. That said, the thing that just happened over here was very embarrassing. Vampires are pretty bad at fighting Chaos too, because one of the weaknesses of the Chaos army is that it has little to no range, but the same is true of vampires. The vampires have to just like wade in there against all of that angry death metal. Ungrel Stoneheart is still wandering around here being a pain. Oh, starting a second army. He'll get his. It's not going to be immediately because we're very busy, but we will show him who is the boss. Oh no, our cargo hold has sprung a leak. So minus 10 armor for all infantry or minus 20% weapon strength. Well, a lot of us aren't wearing armor in the first place. A lot of us have a tremendous amount of physical resistance. Like, the armor loss is really not even comparable. Alright. Like I said, I want to just sail north and get up there and cause trouble for the Dark Elves. Maybe that's what I should do? How much do I think this is under control? I guess is the question. Ah, of course. Of course we can't reach this turn. And for some reason, Luther Harkin was able to settle this settlement while taking less than half as many losses to each unit as Silastra was. So that's pretty cool. Because he's just going to be back at full health here.
What is your demand?
That's frustrating. Alright, we need to start. We need another lord down here. I don't think that's really negotiable. 2 turns and 2 turns. It's a little slow, guys. Alright, hold on. Let's take care of some other stuff first. So what do we want to do over here? I want to put away this rogue faction that just spawned. We cannot have that kind of nonsense happening on Ulthuan. We probably want to rebuild the garrison here a little bit. Again, we don't necessarily want walls around Ingariel. It's pretty good. It has been pretty good for us strategically for them to just like beeline for this no matter what else is going on because they're obsessed with unwalled settlements. So I think we'll leave that there as a honeypot. Let's not move her just yet. Hold on, let's figure this out. So we see 2 weak armies. We know he had a full stack over there. It's in the settlement now. That said, I think we're ready to go after it.
What is your demand?
My only concern here is that we're going to walk into an ambush. But if we walk into an ambush, I want it to be Ronnie Jackson who does it.
Pick your guts up. Yes.
They might be invisible because they're in ambush mode. They might be invisible just because they're in the settlement.
Fight.
Which we do not currently have vision of.
Not this time. The sea brings death.
We need to move as close as possible.
Because
we're going to search the settlement here. And we're going to, surprise, discover it's an entire army plus the settlement garrison. But we want to fight them, right? I think we want to fight them. This is the same army that we just fought, actually. He has created an army that has 100% the exact same unit composition. Okay, I think we should be able to beat this. We were able to beat it a second ago, so... And I think if we do this, then he only has 1 settlement left, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it's probably the ancient city of Quintex, which is a settlement that none of our troops have ever been anywhere near. It's probably pretty built up, and it's the settlement capital, so it's got probably like a 20-unit garrison. It will not be entirely trivial to clear. Wow, that's nice. Yeah, it will not be entirely trivial to clear, but I am confident that we are able to do it. We're just going to do a very similar thing. Because when we did it last time, it worked really well. Irene's ready to respond around the edges. We don't get any vision of them before battle here. I don't really know what I want to do with these guys. I'm going to put them all the way at the edge over here. Okay, so now that we can actually see our foes, I don't want to commit them super hard right away and just get them, like, blown up by warp lightning cannons and death globes. Let's try to run over here, get out of a place where we might be seen accidentally. Keep in mind, their reinforcements are just like a single lord, so it's not anything to be afraid of. Okay, some good artillery strikes there. Gotta get ourselves completely off their axis of movement so they don't get any free vision of us. Ah. Managed to just miss a whole lot of guys there. Let's make sure these guys are dealt with and not just totally owning our dudes. You know, a unit of Sirens could turn around and handle that, but actually Ronnie Jackson can probably defend himself from that particular group of enemies. It's not exactly terrifying. Warp lightning is starting to come in. They really are in no hurry to advance. They just want to mill around and get shot with mortars. Honestly, I think we're coming out pretty far ahead on this. If we all just stay at long range and they fire their warp lightning cannons at us and we fire our mortars at them, I think we win that fight. Alright, I'm not going to waste any time over here. We're just going to go straight for them. If enemies turn around to fight us, that is actually totally fine. Alright. And look at that. They actually came up in a place that kind of makes sense. Not going to matter a whole lot, but they did it. As soon as I see fire from the rest of the... Okay, good enough for me. You might need to turn a little bit to make sure you're actually doing this. Okay, they managed to not destroy even a single one of our siege machines, which is nice. We probably want these guys to move up a little bit more. Just block the flank here. And charge them. And where do I want... I want to focus on the units of Death Globe Bombardiers that are closest to lots of other stuff, I think. We're going to focus our Purple Sun on the Bombardiers as well. Once they stop moving and take up firing position, like right here, it looks like. I think that is a target-rich environment. No, don't wander that way. I was really hoping it was going to go over this direction. Still, not terrible. Oh, the Sirens that I tried to leave on duty there did not have any interest in staying on duty there. Alright, you are definitely going to have to run forward and actually do some fighting. Over here, we just have, like, very, very dense enemy groupings. Alright, so you get that. You guys can distract them. Just have bad melee run directly toward the death globes in the hopes of spoiling their shots. Okay, where are all the guns that are supposed to be on this side? Because these guys definitely need to get on the doom wheel. I know, this didn't really work last time. That doesn't mean it won't work this time. Okay, also, all you guys need to just come over here and form me a second gun line. I definitely told him to run at this unit. He seems to not have any interest in those orders. Alright, but a lot of good breaks real fast here.
Gunner him, Mom.
Are you guys shooting? Are you guys shooting at him? You know, when the bloated corpse shows up as, like, guy number 40, it does somewhat reduce his impact. And I'd be a little bit nervous about rolling up as a concave here because of the fact that none of these units have the skull. It's a lot of guys who are broken, but a lot of guys who are going to recover quickly from being broken. Okay, one of them eventually skulled. Okay, that doesn't matter at all. That is a terrible place for a spawn. Somehow the Doom Wheel is still alive. Tell you, man, veterancy makes a big difference. I think what mostly is happening here is that we're seeing a lot of units with low veterancy. I just say, they're not great at that job. It takes them a really long time to do it. It feels like an overcasted one of these right here has a lot of potential. It also has a lot of potential to screw with my guys. But watch this one just do exactly what we want it to do and not run directly forward into my troops. Nope, it's doing, okay, you know, it's kind of going sideways. Sideways is good. My units ran forward as soon as it hit them. Okay, I think that Purple Sun actually broke their whole army. It caused just enough morale damage to break everybody simultaneously. So, like I said, I think they only have one settlement left. Now, we do not currently see Tretch. We went through 2 big armies there with 2 additional lords nearby, and none of them were Tretch. So maybe they do have one more army in reserve somewhere. It might be actually in the ancient city. Or it might be just lurking around in the forests out here, because we did see him out here. Can't remember when that was, unfortunately. Alright, so we take this settlement, we park inside of it. We should be back to either full health or very close to full health on our next turn, so we'll be able to press.
Blood and plunder. Make yourselves at home, Admiral of the Fleet.
Alright, and do you have enough move to chase? You do. And in fact, you're even gaining more move.
Attack.
Alright, let's just go after these guys.
Bring war.
Lost 2, and one of them was a bloated corpse.
Fallen deckhands. Move.
Alright, I don't know if this guy is, this guy's gonna be around very long. I guess there's no reason to disband him because, up top is where we need people, right? Up north? So he probably does hang out. We're gonna get 2 more, no, we're gonna get 1 more skill point. This plus 1 more. So what makes sense to take here? I'm gonna take more defense. I don't know, maybe more health was the right call there.
Is the sea.
So let's have a quick look at the strength of Clan Rictus, the remaining strength of Clan Rictus. They have a single settlement. It looks like they have no armies. Maybe 1 or 0 armies. It's got to be the ancient city, right? Did they actually settle the Moonshard? They might have. Okay, well, you're definitely not needed over here anymore. Why don't you just turn around and get us some treasure? And play defense up north. We're so close to done with all of our Skaven problems. You know what? Sure, I'll defeat a foe in battle. Yeah, we should be able to get this. Since she's not going to be needed in battle in the next turn or 2, she probably will have time to do this and then recover. It thought this was going to be a really close battle, huh? Well, we're going to take some mortar damage, that's for sure. And honestly, like, even though I outnumber him in artillery, our artillery is probably not going to be able to hit his. His low veterancy mortars are really inaccurate. So we're probably going to have to kill most of his army first, and then advance on his mortars with our with our rifles. I think that's probably the only way we get this done. You know what I might do is just have the melee run directly forward. I want to get the rest of them into gunshot range there, don't I? Turns out, currently, nobody is in artillery range. The cowardly enemies started much further back than usual.
At once.
I'm going to have a unit of deckhands fan way out to the side here. Now, let's see if we can actually kill them.
Flee, Admiral! Arise, my dominion!
So we have 6 mortars to their 4. And hopefully we're going to accidentally hit some guys here. Okay, one of those kind of hit. This is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying extremely low accuracy. That said, they have surrounded their artillery unit here with a bunch of bodies for us to hit, which is nice. Yep, that volley had 0 hits.
Flee, Admiral! The curse on you!
I would just advance on them with the rifle line, but I'm not sure, like, the ground here is so uneven. I'm not sure we'll actually be able to fire.
Flee, Admiral! Onwards!
Well, I think it behooves us to bring the rifles to bear. They're going to stand back and wait. And we're going to just never ever hit their artillery with our terrible accuracy. Hey, look, that was alright. It doesn't really help us to just stand back here. Okay, now they're coming up. Let's see how many people I can draw off here. Alright, and we settle and get into position just as range meets up. I'm not sure how much of this we'll be able to fire over. Units are so cantankerous with ground that is in any way uneven. So while we're here fighting Vampire Coast versus Vampire Coast, I should say that the new patch contains a bunch of balance changes, but not a lot of stuff that would affect us. There are some changes to some Vampire Coast units, but the handgun gunnery mob doesn't receive any major changes. It gets -2 health per body, -2 health per entity, which means that we'd be a little bit better at standing under melee pressure. But that's it. That's the only change that it makes to handgun gunnery mobs. There is a change. There's a lot of changes for like the type of gunnery mobs we haven't been using yet. The gunners and the bombers rather, and the hand cannon guys seem to have gotten buffed considerably. Like maybe actually worth using now. All right, this has got to wrap up pretty soon. Frankly, I don't even know why they're still fighting. Okay, let's draw up. This will resolve this pretty quickly.
Arise, my dominion! We serve. Moving.
Yeah, it's super weird that they're that they're still into this.
Fight!
Well, we may as well take our potion of healing.
You!
Their mortars are firing directly at my hero. Seems maybe a little unwise. Okay. That'll do that then. Alright, here's hoping this is 15,000 gold, because we could certainly use it. Turns out you go through a lot of money really, really quickly when recruiting. So if we move Silostra north, we rely on Burke plus the new army that we're building at the Star Tower. We probably still need another army down there, sadly. Because if we only have 2 armies, then we're fighting a relatively fair battle against Luther Harkon at the Awakening, and I have absolutely no interest in doing that. It's a shame that all movement through the jungle is so frustrating that we couldn't punish him for resettling that settlement. Alright, what do we got? 1,500 XP and 5,000 treasure. Not bad.
Admiral of the fleet.
Not too shabby. Alright, so we have the good Invocation of Nahak already. Make you a little bit better at surviving combat, and then...
3 sheets to the wind, plotting a course.
Alright, we can land at the Twisted Glade or over here at Hotek's Column or something. Here at the Monoliths, we should rebuild. We should definitely just, like, get to rebuilding all of this stuff. This is another thing that is tremendously expensive to do. We want one of those and one of these. We're okay on approval here. Alright, who else needs decision making? Lenny Verdish is running where he's running. Lenny Sealegs over here.
Why do you pest, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we could hinder his replenishment. I don't know that this is going to help very much. His units just didn't take enough damage from the settle for that to be terribly powerful.
On deck.
Alright, I don't exactly remember where we're selling Viola, but I do know it's over here somewhere.
Captain, reporting.
Eve Hodgson got one of the things we were looking for. Oh, that's what we were having that that guy do. He was running that way because he was going to dig up the treasure. Well, you know what?
By hook or sword.
You can go do that. Because you are in a place that does not matter at all. Why don't you move toward a place that theoretically could matter at least?
On land.
Alright, so I think the answer with Silostra is that we... Yeah, maybe we do just want to bring her down to the Awakening. This is a way of solving this problem that doesn't require me to put together another whole army here just so that I can delete it again later. We can afford to repair this stuff. Chupiyaddles. Garrison should be improved. Or, not Garrison. Dock should be improved. And then we could build... Oh, yeah. Gold mine, right? That makes sense. Actually, gold mine only produces 150 money. It makes more sense to build slave pits. Oixel probably does not need a lot of additional defense. Fuming Serpent definitely needs to have walls as soon as possible. Alright, let's run one more cycle of enemy turns here, and then we are all good. It's been a productive episode. We got Tretch Craventail on his last legs, I think. I suppose you might point out that I've said that before. This time he does only have the one settlement. It's going to be really hard to come back from that. At some point we should probably put that thing down. I'm not really sure what the Dark Elves are doing right now. They don't have a lot of other things to focus on, I wouldn't think. but they certainly aren't attacking us very much. Really? He's able to make it all the way to the Fuming Serpent from there. Well, I don't think that's really a bad thing for us. Yeah, he's kind of keeping himself weak here. We just pursue hard. We're going to be able to happen upon him with our army in much better shape than his. Hopefully, better enough to actually win the battle this time. And that's even if we didn't have another army to devote to chasing him down, which we totally do. Yeah, I think that was a tremendous strategic error on his part. This is going to lead to the loss of his army and the awakening. I don't know where those guys are going. Are they maybe planning to sail across to where his hero is? I don't know what is going on over there that they find so fascinating, but it does kind of seem like that's where they're headed. So Wintertooth is cleaning up here in the wake of the Chaos invasion. Just partying on behind and tearing down the Chaos monuments and building up little settlements in their place. Probably Archaon would be pretty annoyed about that if he knew it was happening. My suspicion is the Chaos Warriors don't really spend a lot of effort knowing what's going on in the world around them. It's pretty much just marching and murdering. Alright, so Archaon himself is defeated. We saw Sarthoriel the Everwatcher get killed. That still leaves a couple of major Chaos characters who are probably running armies. And then there are a few armies in the Chaos invasion that are not character related, it's just a bunch of dudes. I expect some of those are still around here somewhere as well, because the balance of power bar for Chaos is pretty huge. Let's see what the removal of Archaon has done to it. Oh really, is it time for this again? Alright, well, he's only coming over here with 14 units. That's just disrespectful. We are ready and basically in position. He's not even going to be able to make it all the way to our unwalled settlement.
The performance will start when
No, we're not doing peace. I turned Silostra down this way in part so that she could tear you in half on her way to the Awakening. Although it's looking like her services may not be necessary. It still probably makes sense for us to have her wipe out that Beastman faction.
I have brokered with storms.
This is a declaration. Okay, whatever. Minor factions, or rogue armies rather, declaring war on us and then just doing absolutely nothing with the declaration. Ooh. The floor around here conceals our army completely, like a thick winter cloak of leaves and branches, which shield our movement from the enemy. The unsuspecting foe will enjoy no warning before we strike. So ambush success chance everywhere, just for all of our dudes up by 30%. That's pretty cool. I don't think we have a lot of good ambushes going on right now, but I do like that buff. Ambush stance is very powerful. So, if we think the Awakening stuff is under control, we could just have Silostra head north and chase these guys down. We could ignore everything else that's going on. I don't know. I don't know if that's what we're going to do. Fortunately, it's not a decision I have to make right now, because that is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time when, for real, this time I mean it, we defeat the last of the Skaven forces nipping at our heels. And we'll see you then.